Hello everyone, this is Rector speaking, and I have decided to do another tutorial on the Skalkaar quests on Istaria. The last time I did this was a few years ago, and I don't think I ever actually finished the quests, and my voice was pretty hard to hear, and it wasn't the best. So I'm going to try this again. Um, this is with the new character, which I will probably keep as a character. Um, I have just spawned her in, so my UI is already changed around. I'm not sure why, but it is. So I'm going to quickly set up my UI and then come back to the game as soon as I can. I'm back, and if it looks like my UI hasn't changed much, it's because it actually hasn't. As I said earlier, I have no idea why I automatically put it to the usual position I have it in, but it did. And yeah. Usually you'll just have like this big box over here for all of your general actions. I have them on hotkeys, but I'll tell you what to do with them. Hotkey bars and all of that. Can you actually see my mouse pointer? No, you can't. Give me a moment. There, now you can actually see my mouse pointer. Moving on. So the first thing you're going to do is go up and talk to this guy right here. He'll tell you some things about Istaria. You can ask him what gift it is, or what the commonly forgotten things, or what adulthood and ancienthood is. I'm not going to go into that right now because it's not entirely relevant. People in game would actually answer your questions about that, or the wiki would. So just go past Spitfire here and move up toward. People in Marketplace are talking, sorry. And move up towards. Let's move up along this path. The biggest mistake I see people doing is they go off this path and they start killing these guys right here. Thing is, you don't even have a level yet. You'll see your level up here. Doing these guys does nothing, and you do have some abilities, which I'll hockey right now. You hockey things by dragging them from your character window to your hockey bar. You can find things in your character window you can open from clicking this button down here, and then going up to character. Or the hotkey is C, but I don't know if that's actually the default hotkey because I changed it, I think. It's been changed over the years. But so basically people go over here and kill these guys. Bad idea. You don't get any experience. They kill you easily. These pigs are dangerous. So just go over towards here. Run along this path. And you'll go into this volcanic area. And you'll run into this guy over here. Instructor Carcath, actually. You click G to greet things, or right-click greet, and he tells you a few things, and he talks about the Dragon Adventurer School, and they tell you to open your quest journal, and he wants you to he actually puts you in the Adventurer School, so now you actually have a level. You now have a bunch of abilities. You can see you gained up here. This is your action window. I think by default that's down here. And so yeah. So he talks to you about a few things. You're going to want to read this. I'm not going to because I've seen it like 8 million times. You're going to actually also want to hotkey your abilities here. You can only have to hotkey Breath of Fire and Bite if you want. Those are your two main attacking abilities at this level. But you can also hotkey Sprint like I did. That just makes you run much faster for about 20 seconds. Now you're going to want to go back down this path. Sorry, it's instinct to click the button when it's glowing. It just bugs me. And so you open up your abilities here. Actually, you don't have to, sorry. And you go down back to the Grulets here, and you start smacking them around. This guy's level 3. He's 2 levels above you. You should be able to take him on, though. You can attack things by clicking them and then clicking your abilities and going after them. Or you can, in your little pop-up ability window here, you can click attack when you have them selected by clicking on them. Or you can actually click them and then click tab, which is the hotkey to attack things. And as you see, I tapped it and it says it's already dead. So I'm going to go run back towards Instructor Carcloth, because that's what he told me to do. He said to kill one Grulet. And go back. I think you open the quest log by pressing L by default. And so move back, or you can go into your window here. So walk back to here, talk to him again, and then he'll tell you, oh, congratulations, made your first kill. He gives you your first Horde item. Now, Horde is something that people don't really understand. Horde is a thing that only dragons have, and they're a special thing. Anything you can really hoard, such as I could hoard this Grulet snout. It only has a value of 80, which is kind of tiny. But there's also horde items like this dented bell has a horde value of 100, which is noticeably higher, and things that you get later on get up to horde values of 100,000, 250,000. It's nuts. So horde is something that actually helps your dragon breath and your armor skills. And I don't know exactly how much, but I know for each level to max out the amount of skills it gives you, you have to have a certain amount of things. Like you have to be at least like at level 100 you have to have 250 million worth of horde to have your maximum armor bonus from your horde. So to hoard things, you open your inventory with I or E, I'm not sure actually, and right click it and click add to hoard. And then just, this is a confirmation screen so you don't accidentally hoard things. And click add to hoard. Now you can see down here this little picture updated. This gets more and more updated the further you go along. And you get your little hoard value down here. It tells you your hoard size. This is your equipment window actually. You can open it by pressing, I think, Control and E or going through here. And these are all of your armor slots. These open up as you level up. At level 10, you open up your first slot. At level 20, you open up your second one. At level 0, you only have your chest scale. And then you get your... Actually, wait. Let me see. I'm not actually sure if you have any... No, you only... No, never mind. Wait. I have no idea, actually. I think you start out with a chest scale, then you get a wing scale at level 10, and then you get your head scale, then your other wing scale, then your first foreleg, then your second foreleg, and then your hind leg, your next hind leg, your back, and your tail. I'm not entirely sure. Also, I'm going to run back to the Grulets while I do this. And then also you have the Dragon Claw. This actually is explained later in the tutorial. Actually, all this is, actually, so I probably shouldn't be going over this by now, but since I'm already into it, I may as well continue. Your Dragon Claw is kind of like your weapon. It makes you hit harder, and you can technique it. Basically add special things to it to make it better. So you can hit harder or add more health to your character and all that. There's your pet. You can get pets by exchanging loyalty tokens for things, which are something you'd notice later on in the game, or from festivals and all that. They just kind of like act as another sort of storage area, and they follow you around. There's like wolves and spiders and beetles. And then there's a cargo disc, which is just something that just follows you around and kind of slows you down a little. And you can put resources onto it. So back to the quest. Next quest is to kill Grulets until I get a Grulet tusk. Now, what you have to do is you can kill some Grulets, which I will do now. And once they die, you will be able to right-click it, click Browse Loot, and you'll be able to see what's into it. He gave me a damaged animal skin, which you can sell to Ragul the Oddities Broker and Nutrismus, which is the next area, and a wild Grulet tusk. This is what he wants, the Grulet tusk. So just click Take All. And it'll say you have found the Grulet tusk, return to Karkath, and we'll do that now. So I'm going to run back. And he's right up around the hill. And G. Okay. And he'll say well done and all that, and now he wants you to go to Geminoth. Geminoth is much further down this hill. Also, I leveled up and I got a new ability, so I'm going to hockey that. Silver Strike is pretty good. When you level up, you're going to have to want to watch your little window here, which is probably down here. That it tells you what abilities you get, and if you miss this, you probably won't notice them until you open your character window. And you're really going to want to know when you get a new ability, because usually they're extremely useful. Some abilities you can only get through quests, which you find later on, and other abilities you can only get through leveling up. Most abilities I think you get through quests. There's not a huge amount you get from leveling up. You get a lot of passive abilities from leveling up, like things like Claw Mastery, which just gives you damage, or Dodge, which actually lets you dodge, and all of this. Now, I hope you actually kind of were watching where I was going. I didn't explain. Basically, you just got to follow the path downwards from Karkath. Karkath is down that way, behind that bridge. Just got to follow the path around and up underneath this structure here, up the hill. This is a very steep hill, but you can run up it, up to Geminoth here. I think she's actually an ancient dragon. She's the first ancient dragon you see. She looks much bigger on my screen because I have a few mods installed. Actually, I have a lot of mods installed. I have the original ancient. I have a few lava mods installed, which is why my lava looks different. I have the red mouth and horns and everything installed, so my character has these white horns and a red mouth. You can't really see it. Let me type an emote. See, she has a red mouth. So yeah, I have a bunch of mods on. You'll probably notice a difference, but it's just all visual. Now go up to Geminoff and click G to greet her, and she'll just talk to you and says, and you're going to want to greet her again because she doesn't instantly give you your next quest. And then she'll tell you what to do. First thing she wants you to do is she actually gives you the Dragon Crafting School. This is your first crafting school. There are 4 for dragons at the time of this video being made. There is the Dragon Crafting, which is the original school which you can get, where you can make your armor, your claws, and all your basic resources. There's Dragon. Actually, no, sorry. There's 3 schools, and there's Dragon Lair Shaping, which is where you can build your own lair, which is one of the things Istaria is kind of known for, is the fact that you can own plots of land and build it yourself without any sort of guidelines except for certain structures you can build. And then the third one is Dragon Crystal Shaping, which was added pretty recently, I think back in January, February, or something like that. No, actually, no, sorry, it was December of 2013. And that lets you make crystals, which you can use, and it gives you temporary status boosts, and that's pretty useful for people and only dragons can make them, so bipeds will probably might ask a dragon for that. So when you open up your abilities tab here, you have the adventure and crafting tabs here. So go to crafting, and you notice you have all these new abilities here. Don't be overwhelmed by them. I'll explain what they do. Dragon mining. This lets you mine. Let's see, metals, and I think it's just metals you can get with mining. Mining is only metal. Mining metal. Remember that. And then smelting. This lets you make bars out of the metal. And quarrying. This lets you get basically everything else: gems, stone, crystals. Everything else is for that. And stoneworking lets you make stone bricks. Where's the next one? I put these in a certain order. Gem working lets you make gems. Let me swap those. I think those are swapped. I don't know. I'm OCD with this. And then next thing is essence harvesting. It lets you harvest essence from wisps. We'll go over that when I get to Nutrismus, if I make a Nutrismus video, but it's not used in Skalkaar. The next one is Dragon Acid Shaping, which lets you make orbs out of the essence that you gather. And then there is Dragon Scalecraft, which lets you make scales, and which is basically armor, and I think it also lets you make claws. And then there's Dragon Spellcraft, which lets you make spells. And the final thing here is this is just an empty slot actually. There's Ingenuity, which gets you together a slew of random things. I'm not sure, but it's like lets you gather water and herbs and stuff like that. It's stuff you really generally don't need, but I tend to hockey it anyway because it just kind of completes my bar. And then Transmutation here. This is that stuff that lets you use tainted essence orbs, which are essence orbs that you made from tainted essence, which you get from dead wisps, and the previous tiers things. So currently you're only on tier 1. There's a bunch of different tiers. Basically, you can only make certain things for certain levels, etc. So Transmutation lets you make, let's say, tier 2 is slate, tier 1 is sandstone, and dim essence. If you get tainted dim essence orbs and sandstone, and you combine them with your dragon transmutation skill and the formula beginner stone transmutation, you'll be able to make slate, even if you're not level 20 crafting yet. It's not really widely used because it's kind of a roundabout way to go. So, moving on, let's go to what Geminoff told us to do. We have to gather 50 copper and tin ore. Copper and tin ore is down here. In case you're wondering how I'm gliding, it's an option. I'll tell you that in a second. It's right down... Oh yeah, and baby dragons can't fly. You have to be an adult first. You become adults through the rite of passage, which is a big quest later on. Minimum level 20. adventure and 20, rather, yeah, 30 adventure and 20 crafting, sorry. And so gliding you get from clicking this button, options, oops, that's notepad, dang it. Options, then they go to the options tab, scroll down, start to fly or glide when you're falling. And that lets you glide or whatever when you're falling off a cliff, so you don't face plant in the ground. There's no fall damage anyway, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, when you get down here, you're gonna want to click your dragon mining tool after you hotkey it, and you'll be able to see in your little buffs window, which is probably over here. It's just this little window that kind of looks like this. You'll get this little symbol, which it'll look different because I also have an icons mod, so it has the same name though. You get dragon mining, it lasts for an hour, and you can always just use it anytime. If I click it again, you'll see it's now again and again, like 20 seconds more. So you're going to go up to this resource, and there's going to be that window up here. You're going to click gather from that window, or you're going to tap backspace, and you'll gather. You're just going to sit here and gather until you get 50. And believe me, it's monotonous and slow, and sometimes you fail, but it gets better when you level up your crafting. So just kind of watch your character dig. Move my camera around so you can just watch her dig. So I don't know anything else. I guess I'll explain the adult and stuff. Basically, when you get to level 20, dragons don't age naturally due to a lore point. So when you get to level level 30 adventure and level 20 crafting minimum, you can talk to Coraine the historian outside of one of the cities, and she'll give you a quest which lets you start the big quest where you can choose to become an adult dragon. There are two paths, Helion and Lunas, and Lunas is the more fighting style clan, that faction more like it, that dislikes bipeds and doesn't want them to be equal to dragons. They think they're lesser. For that one, you need to have level 30 adventure, level 30 crafting, and I think 250,000 horde to start that quest. You'll have that by then. For Helion, those are the scholars. They're pretty smart. They're stereotypically pretty smart. Not all of them are smart. And by the way, you got the 50 copper, so I'm going to run it back up the hill. And they want to work with the bipeds against the big enemy, which is the Blight. And so basically, so to be a Helion, you have to have level 40 crafting and 30 adventure, and 350,000 horde, which may seem much bigger, and it kind of is. The rite of passage is a little harder, but I don't know, it's not entirely worth it in terms of the extra energy, but really, in the end, Lunas and Helion are all personal preference because the buffs that they give you aren't hugely affected later on when you're an adult dragon. It's not a huge difference. I'm currently raising a melee fighter that's a Helion, even though Helions are more spellcasters. Anyway, for the rite of passage, you're gonna want to be 50 adventure instead of 30, but a lot of people just go in at 30 because all the mobs are like level 50. Anyway, so talk to Geminoth again. And she'll be like, oh, you made the stuff. Now, she wants you to go into her lair. Actually, she gives you a formula here. To scribe it, you're going to want to open up your inventory, and to use this formula, you're going to want to right-click it and click Scribe. And now this will be scribed, and now if you click F, which opens your formulas, you'll see it here, and then you can just drag it up to your hotkey bar. I do that all the time because it's just easier to click it, but you can also just double-click it from here. So, you can also open your formulas by clicking Knowledge here. It's one of the tabs. So I'm going to run into here, and also little glitches that you can glide through these structures, so it's a bit faster. And you're going to want to go to the smelter, which is right here. So once you're here, you're going to want to use your dragon smelting ability, open up your beginner metal bar, and click bronze bar. And it's a tutorial that'll pop up. You might want to read it. And then you got this big complicated window. It's pretty simple. It's when it says skill use smelting, it's just your dragon smelting skill. You need to use, and tool, it'll tell you what tool you need to use. Basically, if you click this, I don't think it uses your smelting. But you're going to want to use your dragon smelting ability for making metal bars. And this is a glitch, by the way. And so you're going to want to move up this slider to the most you can. You only need like 10, but I accidentally gathered a bit more ore than I needed. And thing is, if you actually, this success rate thing, you can move it down to like 50% success rate, meaning you can fail to make things, but you can make more, have the possibility of making more. It's like a little chance thing. Like I could make double the amount normally if I wanted to, but it's like only a 1% chance. So I'm just gonna, you just generally keep it at 100. I don't bother with the slider. So 11 is what I'm gonna make here. Click create. It's gonna close on creation. I got a lot of experience for that. This is your experience bar. And then now that you created your 10 bars, go back to Artisan Geminoth, who will still be out here. She's right here.